Hi there, my friend. Welcome back to EnglishStoryHub, your calm space to learn English in a natural, simple way. Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like you study English again and again, but nothing really changes? You watch videos, you repeat words, you try grammar rules, but when it's time to speak, your mind goes blank. It's okay. You're not alone. Many learners feel the same. They say, English is hard. They say, I forget everything. But here's the truth. Maybe the problem isn't your memory. Maybe it's your method. You see, most people try to speak fast, but they forget to read slowly. And that's where the real secret begins. Because reading is not just reading. It's a kind of quiet training for your brain. Every time you read, your brain sees English in context, in real situations, not in a list. Reading shows you how words live together, how sentences breathe, how ideas flow. It's not about speed. It's about connection. So today, let's explore this simple habit, reading. Not as a boring task, but as a doorway. A door that can lead you to better English, clearer thoughts, and a stronger, more confident you. Let's be honest, my friend. When people think about improving English, they imagine speaking fast, memorizing grammar, or watching endless videos. But here's the twist. Real progress starts quietly, with your eyes and your mind, not your mouth. Reading changes your brain. It trains your brain to see English naturally, like a native speaker does. You don't just learn words, you feel them. You see how they connect, how they fit in a sentence, how they carry emotion. Think of it like music. If you listen again and again, you start to feel the rhythm. Reading works the same way. Every sentence you read gives your brain a rhythm of English. The natural flow, the pauses, the balance between short and long sounds. And here's the best part. You don't need to study consciously. You don't have to say, this is a noun, or that's a preposition. Your brain will learn by noticing patterns, not by memorizing rules. That's how children learn. And that's how your brain loves to learn too. Reading also helps you think in English. You stop translating. You start understanding meaning directly. When you read, your mind connects pictures, emotions, and ideas straight in English, without going back to your native language. That's the moment when learning becomes natural, and English becomes part of you. So remember this simple truth. You don't become fluent by forcing speed. You become fluent by building connection, one quiet page at a time. Let me share a few stories with you. Real stories, not theories. Because when you hear how ordinary people change through reading, you begin to believe it's possible for you too. Let's start with Emma. She's 26, living in a small town in Poland. She works at a supermarket 8 hours a day, standing behind the counter, talking to customers in her native language. Her dream was to move abroad, maybe to Canada, but her English was always almost there. She watched videos, tried online courses, and repeated sentences, but nothing truly stuck. Then one day, a friend gave her a small graded reader, an easy English storybook for learners. It was The Little Prince, Level 2. At first she thought, I'm too tired. Maybe tomorrow. But that night, she opened the first page. Just one. The next night, she read again. 10 minutes a day, that's all. After 1 month, she realized something incredible. She could understand English without translating. When she listened to songs or YouTube videos, familiar words appeared in her mind like old friends. 3 months later, she started reading short articles online. A year later, she applied for a job in an international company, and she got it. Not because she was perfect, but because she could think clearly in English. Her secret wasn't magic. It was a small, daily reading habit. Now let's talk about Carlos, a 34-year-old engineer from Mexico City. He had studied English for years, grammar, vocabulary, test prep, but when he had to speak in meetings, his brain froze. He thought he wasn't talented. Then one day, during lunch break, he picked up an English comic, Spider-Man. He didn't plan to learn. He just wanted to relax. But something unexpected happened. He began to notice sentence patterns, jokes, and everyday expressions. He laughed, and for the first time, English felt alive. He bought another comic, then another. After a few months, he could follow movies and podcasts more easily. When he joined meetings again, the words came out naturally, not perfect, but real. He said, "Comics gave me what grammar never could, confidence." And here's a story from Japan, Aiko, a nurse in Osaka. Her English was basic, and she needed it for her hospital's international patients. She didn't have much time, but she read short health articles in English every night before bed. Sometimes just one paragraph. After 6 months, she noticed she could answer patients faster, with less stress. Her coworkers began asking how she improved, and she said, "I just read what I love." That's all. Even famous people share this truth. Elon Musk once said he learned most things by reading, not by teachers, not by tutors. As a child, he read for 5 hours a day science fiction, physics, philosophy. Those books shaped the imagination that later built rockets and electric cars. It's not about what you read. It's about how often you read and how deeply you connect. So maybe your story is waiting too, quietly, in a book, an article, or a story you'll open tonight. Maybe one day you'll tell someone, "I started with 1 page and it changed everything." Because that's how growth really works, not in a rush, but in small, gentle steps that build something powerful inside you. 1 sentence, 1 page, 1 day at a time. Confidence. It's the word every learner dreams of, right? You want to speak clearly, express your ideas freely, sound natural, and most of all, feel calm. But here's something few people understand. Confidence doesn't come first. Understanding does. When you read, you build a quiet, steady kind of confidence, the kind that grows inside before it appears outside. It's not loud, not instant, but it's real. Because reading gives you something no textbook can, clarity. Think about it. When you read, there's no pressure, no audience, no fear of mistakes. You can slow down. You can pause. You can breathe. You start to see how English really works, how one idea flows into another, how sentences rise and fall like gentle waves. Sometimes short and crisp, sometimes long and melodic. And as you keep reading, something quiet begins to change. Your brain starts predicting words. You can almost hear what's coming next. That's not guessing, that's experience. It means your brain is learning rhythm, pattern, and meaning. And that's where confidence is born. Let me tell you about Minh, a student from Vietnam. When he first started learning English, he was painfully shy. Every time the teacher called his name, his hands shook. But one day, he discovered graded readers, simple storybooks written for learners. He read The Secret Garden, then Sherlock Holmes, then stories about time and space. Each page gave him new words, new emotions, new courage. Then one morning in class, without planning it, Minh raised his hand and spoke a full sentence, naturally, smoothly, without stopping. His teacher smiled and said, "That was beautiful." Later, Minh said, "It wasn't grammar lessons that changed me. It was the stories. They made me believe I could speak." That's what reading does. It quietly rewires your brain. English stops being a subject you study and becomes a language you live. It becomes a small voice inside you that whispers, "I can." Confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from familiarity. And reading makes English familiar. Every word, every phrase, every emotion. So when you speak, it's not a test anymore. It's simply you expressing what your mind already understands. And here's something I want you to hold close. You don't become confident when others clap for you. You become confident when you trust yourself. When you know you've read, felt, and connected deeply with the language. So tonight, instead of scrolling through your phone, open 1 page. Read slowly. Enjoy it. That quiet moment with English, that's confidence in progress. Invisible today, powerful tomorrow. So my friend, let's come back to where it all began. That simple question. Why is reading so important? It's not just about English. It's about transformation. Because every page you read does more than teach words. It shapes your mind. It builds your habits. It changes how you see yourself. You might think, but I don't have time. Emma thought that too. She worked all day, came home exhausted, but still read 1 page before bed. Just 1. And that tiny page became her quiet revolution. 5 minutes a night turned into a new rhythm, a new self. You might think, but I'm too old to start. Carlos thought that too. He began with comic books, laughed at the drawings, learned without stress. And 3 months later, He was watching movies without subtitles. Not perfectly but proudly. You see, progress doesn't need pressure. It needs patience. It needs a small daily choice to read, to stay curious, to keep showing up. Reading in English isn't just study time. It's life practice. It teaches focus, empathy, and courage. It makes your inner voice stronger. It reminds you that growth doesn't shout, it whispers. So if you've ever said, maybe English isn't for me, I want you to pause and listen. Because English is not waiting for someone perfect. It's waiting for someone consistent. Someone like you. Start small. A short story. A short article. Even one inspiring sentence. Don't rush to understand everything. Let curiosity lead you. Because one day, without even noticing, you'll open a page and realize you understand it. And in that moment, you'll feel something powerful. Not pride, not pressure, but peace. That's fluency. That's connection. That's growth. So tonight, make this promise to yourself. I will start small. I will read one page. I will keep going. And as you turn each page, remember, you're not just learning English. You're building your new self, one quiet page at a time. This is your beginning, calm, patient, powerful. Now tell me, what will you read today? Let's slow down for a moment. Take a deep breath. This is not just another English lesson. This is a reminder of who you're becoming. Because every page you've read, every sentence you've understood, every word you've noticed, they've all been shaping something inside you. You're not the same learner you were a month ago. You've grown quietly, consistently, like roots under the soil. Now, repeat these words with me, not as practice, but as truth. I am learning, even when it feels slow. I am growing, even when no one sees it. I am becoming confident, one page at a time. Reading is not only teaching you English. It's teaching you patience. It's teaching you focus. It's teaching you self-trust. The belief that effort today creates change tomorrow. Every time you read, you train your brain to stay curious. You remind yourself that progress doesn't shout, it whispers. That understanding doesn't happen in a rush. It unfolds gently, sentence by sentence. So, whenever you feel tired or stuck, come back to these affirmations. Say them softly, like a promise to yourself. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to continue. I don't need more time. I only need one page. I am not behind. I am on my way. Because you are truly. You're becoming the kind of learner who doesn't just study English, but lives it. You're becoming someone who reads not to pass a test, but to understand the world and yourself. So, close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself 6 months from now, reading with ease, smiling as the words flow naturally, feeling calm instead of anxious. That person is already growing inside you. All you have to do is keep turning the page. We started with one question. Why is reading so important? But somewhere along the way, you discovered something deeper. Reading isn't only about learning English. It's about discovering yourself. Every page you open shapes your mind a little more. It teaches you patience, focus, and imagination. It reminds you that growth doesn't always make noise. Sometimes it whispers softly, one word at a time. When you read, you travel without moving. You listen to new voices, meet new worlds, and find small reflections of your own story. And slowly, English stops being a school subject. It becomes a bridge. A bridge to understanding, to connection, to confidence. So wherever you are right now, on the train, in your room, or taking a quiet walk, remember this. Your English story doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to begin. One sentence, one page, one day at a time. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to English Story Hub and tap that like button if today's episode inspired you. It helps more learners like you find this calm, encouraging space to grow. Because this is more than a channel, it's a community of readers, dreamers, and learners, building confidence together. So keep reading, keep believing. And remember, your story begins right here, right now. Thank you for listening to English Story Hub, your calm space to learn, reflect, and grow in English.